I didn't know if I wanted to do this story, but I decided to do it anyway because I thought it's just a little small little story that I thought was interesting. And so if you don't know who the person I'm talking about is, it's okay. It still is very interesting. The person I'm talking about is Prince A. He's the guy who made the video, a bunch of videos that went ridiculously viral. He's the guy in the pink polo by a water thing, and he's saying like, we need to get off our phones, put your eye in the sky and put it in a pie. You don't know why. You know, he's that guy doing spoken word. And basically, I drove him with Lyft. I was driving with Lyft, and I didn't even know it was him. And this is how it kind of happened. I most likely, most likely insulted him. Okay, so let me explain. People get in the car. I never really look in. I never look at the passengers unless it's important or I'm actually turning my head that way. It's just like, it doesn't matter to me. It's just another passenger. But a group of people got in and they start talking about audio and like recording and sending audio to an engineer, making sure that thing gets all said and done. And basically, one thing that I thought I knew about, but I interpreted it as something different, where he said, like, the guy right next to me, was three people, guy sitting up here talking to the guy in the back. He was saying like, is that what that one video you did, row your boat? Was that what that was about? And the guy was like, yeah, that's what it was about. You know, row your boat was blah, blah, blah. And this guy right here was trolling him. Like, and if he's working for him, working with him or whatever, it's like, man, that's kind of like a dig. Honestly, it's just like a nasty dig. But I don't know who he was. It's so funny, and I'm so glad I didn't know, because, you know, throughout the whole ride, they're doing all this banter, and right as I stopped, I drop them off, and then before I let them go, I'm interested. I'm like asking, oh, what do you guys do? Are you guys like artists? I thought they were like musicians or something. I wanted to like get their artist name and then later check them out on YouTube. And the guy who was Prince A, he said the girl's name, who he was sitting next to, whatever her name was, I turned around, she looked to be in a burqa, and she nice pretty face, you know. She said like, she smiled with a caring smile, and she was like, no, and then she said Prince A. She's the one who exposed it. And I was like, oh, who's Prince A? And then they just all got out, and like I looked in my rear view mirror, and like I saw him. I was like, it didn't connect at first. I was like, oh, he looks familiar. And I drove off, and then I was like, oh snap. That was the dude. That was the guy, the meme himself. And you might wonder, like, why are you calling him the meme himself? Well, the H3H3 podcast was just live, I think, in the same day or the day before, and I had it superimposed on my phone. And on my dashboard, I had the phone, and then I have always some type of YouTube video that I have paused. Right then, throughout the whole ride, you have H3H3's face, EtHan's face, just kind of plastered right there. And so, what I didn't think about is, right after I dropped him off, H3H3 in this year, still, this happened a couple weeks ago, but in this year, like, he roasted Prince A. He destroyed him. He kind of like went through his content and was like, who is this guy? Like, that's the downfall I feel of EtHan. That's like, he comes through and like, you know, he talks about people's content and it's like, who's this guy who makes jokes and stuff, right? But people see that. he's big enough for people to actually see, oh my God, what does this guy say about me? And then then in the podcast that they watched, that they have, Prince Ye even watched the review of H3H3. And if you watch it, you should go ahead and type it out and watch that video. It's so sad. It's so sad to see, because Prince Ye, he seems to be a humble guy who's just really trying to put out some good messages out there. And it might be a little grandiose and a little bit cheesy sometimes, because he is kind of doing this spoken word thing. And if it doesn't really hit home, it'll just be a little fake, And so I'm pretty sure he knows that. And so I'm pretty sure if you were a spoken word person and this is what you got famous for, you probably would try to be on this level where you're trying to help people out, but then also not be, too cheesy. Ethan destroyed him. He watched the video, reacted to it, and in this video, Prince Ye, he was he seemed so, he didn't say anything throughout the whole thing. It's almost like he was agreeing with Ethan, and he was just sad. He was yeah, the guy's, he looked sad. He looked so sad. He was oh, yeah, you got me, man. Yeah, it's pretty funny. You can see, you can hear the emotion in his voice. You could tell he was so affected by that. And I was driving away, and I was oh, snap. Oh, boy, I'm a douchebag. I am a douchebag. This guy was seeing the guy who literally roasted him on the internet in front of millions of people, mind you, millions of people. And he's just right there. And then out of all the cars that you could have gotten, out of all the cars, they got into this one, and the dude has the freaking thing right there. What a life. What a world. Honestly. And he doesn't even know that I'm a YouTuber myself. So it's it's kind of just ironic spiral, just coming and colliding and making this situation. It's I don't know, man. I think that was a very, very unfortunate situation. Too ironic, if you ask me. A little bit too ironic. Way too perfect. Really? Out of all the times, that time, I felt like crap. I felt like a douchebag for having that, because I realized the situation. And he probably, if you saw it, or if you did notice, I don't know if you noticed or not, probably felt oh, there he is. There's Ethan, the guy who made fun of me. I don't know. That's just a little short story that was interesting. I don't know. I felt bad about it. Because it's kind of obvious why. It's just not a good situation, honestly. So, yeah, that's just a little short story. I thought you might have get a yuck out of that.